Hi, this is Melanie for Pardesi Reviews. I'm here to do a review of the Telugu and Malayalam film Yatra, starring Mammootty. So Yatra means journey. This film is a biopic of YSR, the politician, who I really didn't know anything about before I saw even the first trailer. And this is the scope of the film is really YSR deciding to go on this journey before the elections and what happens to him while he meets different people along the way and discovers their problems and how that influences his term as chief minister. And it really, the film then has an epilogue where they show footage of the real YSR, which was really my first time seeing what he looked like and seeing how close that Mammootty's portrayal. He has a kind of a distinctive wave and just the way that he carried himself. You can judge better than I can, but I thought Mammootty carried it very well. Because he did have, like I said, like a very specific, unusual wave and so forth. So, and I just think the gravitas of an actor like Mammootty playing YSR is a really good match. All right, so I should say that I saw the film actually in the Malayalam version. So almost everyone was dubbed, and the filming, I can tell Mammootty was speaking his part in Malayalam, but his lips were moving from speaking Telugu. And I have no way to judge if when he did the film in Telugu, if he had an accent to the way he was speaking that took people out of the movie or not. I don't know. The show times at my theater, it worked out for me to see the Malayalam version and not the Telugu. Rao Ramesh, it sounded like dubbed for himself. He plays a close associate of YSR who works with him, through the whole political process. And then we have Jagapati Babu, who I could tell was dubbed with a different voice in Malayalam, playing YSR's father in some black and white flashback scenes of his boyhood. Suhasini Maniratnam played Sabita Indra Reddy, another politician going on the Yatra, going on the journey with YSR. And Sachin Kadakar kind of plays his chief rival in the film, a politician with a Congress party he is the measuring stick by the way that we see that YSR has risen to the point that rather than him going to these party leaders for approval, with the crowds following him by the end of the film, that they need to come to him for approval on party matters. This film is directed by Mahi Raghav, and looking at his filmography, I think this is his 6th film. I haven't seen any of his other Telugu films. This seems to be the season for all of these biopics right now, and especially political biopics. So we have the second part of NTR's biography picture coming out in February as well. I guess we're leading up to election season, and YSR's son is somehow involved because they have a little bit of him in the epilogue at the end. This film was probably very nostalgic for the Telugu people, to see this very impactful politician who died tragically in 2009. And I really didn't know anything about him, and I'll be honest with you, I got somewhat of a measure of the man and where his compassion for ordinary people, for poor people, and putting in policies that really change people's lives. He learned from his father, why just be a doctor? You can help only so many people, but if you're a leader, then you could help millions. And that's really his guiding force that he goes back to, that we hear in these black and white flashbacks with Jagapati Babu. But we don't really get a sense of how he rose to the point that he is of being the opposition leader at the beginning of the film. For me, there were some still pictures during the credits that kind of showed his career of being a doctor and so forth, but I couldn't read the captions that were in Telugu script. So I guess it gave a little bit of his background, but you really are starting at the point when elections are called and he decides to go on this journey. And it's all the things that happen to him, and the farmer that tries to commit suicide, and the young girl whose sister, they can't afford the operation. And it's all these different people he meets along the way that inform the policies that he enacts, that he promises that he will not forget, that he will remember them. And I did like Rex did the translations, the subtitles. And even from the first teaser trailer, I loved her turn of phrase that he said he wanted to hear the heartbeat of the people. That's the way that it was translated into English. And it's just a lovely kind of poetic turn of phrase. He really wanted to, it conveys so much in that. He wanted to be close enough to them to hear their heartbeat. And also that he really wanted to know what mattered to them, what they cared about, what was driving their heart. Was it partially a political stunt? Yes. I loved how he sort of asked for permission, just went ahead and did it anyway, and then got permission as he was, on the journey already. I just think Mammootty did a really great job, but we don't really get a sense of his relation, how he was as a family man. We don't know anything really besides his wife saying, "Couldn't you wait a month? It's really hot." That's about the extent of really seeing anything about him as a real person, as a family person. And the only real conflict in the film is this rivalry with this committee of people in his political party who are, jockeying with him for power. And that's the measuring stick that shows us when the tables have turned and he has really become so popular that they have to come to him and they have to listen to what he has to say about who else should be running in the elections. And it ends with him giving the speech, like I said, of taking the chief minister oath. And then there's the epilogue that kind of shows the real person and shows documentary footage of him and some of so the point of the film is to show how much he had this relationship with the common people. And then the very epilogue is showing how real people reacted to the news of his death and why that would hit them so hard. I felt like the film, I left wanting a little bit more knowing more about his rise to power, but that wasn't the scope of the movie. The scope of the movie was just basically the journey itself. And I thought Mammootty did a fantastic job. I thought the other supporting, and recognized many supporting actors, character actors from the Telugu industry who had various parts as different politicians and so forth. I thought everybody did a good job, even though I was hearing them with dubbed Malayalam actor voices. It just, to me, it wasn't a great film. It was a good film, but it wasn't great. And I'm sure it had just a different depth of meaning for the Telugu people who have such fond memories of YSR and the impact that he had. It's strange that Mammootty has two big films out at the exact same time. I know in the comments you're going to say, where's their Paramba review? And I'm hoping to see it tomorrow. It's only playing like one showing a day during the day in a theater that's an hour drive away from me. So barring snowstorm tomorrow, we are supposed to have some snow, I will drive there and try to see Mammootty's other film tomorrow. So look for that review, hopefully coming soon. If you like this review, please like it and share it. Follow me on Twitter at PardesiYT. Subscribe here to Pardesi Reviews. And if you hit the bell when you subscribe, you'll get a notification whenever I have a new reaction or film review.